Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Digital Den mini class, the final lesson in our Cartoonize Yourself Using Photoshop Filters series here. We have learned a ton so far, and today we are going to be taking a look at cartoonizing your backgrounds and just other fun photos that you have taken to be able to demonstrate that filters are not just for people, they're for environments as well, and let's dive into it. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and of course, in our last couple of lessons, we've talked about how to make yourself look like a cartoon character, how to make yourself look like a painting, and how to go retro and pixelate yourself to put yourself in an old school video game, right? But now let's take a look at how to take your environments. Maybe you just went to the beach recently and you took yourself a photo and you're like, man, this sure is beautiful, but maybe I could make it look more interesting. So we're going to start this off by doing the same steps that we've done for everything else. And we're going to get rid of this lock here in the bottom corner by double clicking on the picture. And then we're going to right click on it and convert it to a smart object there. This is going to allow for us to be able to use the filter gallery that we have up here. And now we can take a look at the wide variety of filter options that are inherently available on Photoshop. We're going to click on this drop-down menu here, and we're just going to hit fit to screen or fit to view, whichever is your preference there, so that we can see the whole thing. Now, as you can see right off the bat here, it really took our picture and made it look, a little bit more hand-drawn here using the poster edges function. And you can turn down the intensity and the thickness of pretty much everything that we are that we're using here to be able to make things look a little bit different. Now, if I crank it down all the way, this looks basically the exact same as it did before, but making the making some of the darkness around a couple of the areas a little bit more pronounced on that. Okay, so you can adjust that a little bit, but we've used poster edges before. Let's take a look at some of the filters that we have not seen before. Let's take a look at dry brush. And this is going to give us a little bit of a different kind of painted feel to it. If we increase the brush size here and increase the brush detail, maybe add a little bit of texture in there. We've got this, if you hung this up in your home and printed it out on like a canvas, people would be like, wow, what an incredible painter that you are. And I'm not trying to show you these Photoshop things to try to trick your friends into thinking that you're amazing, an amazing artist, but if it happens, right? Some of the other options that we have here, let's take a look at watercolor. And boy, with the normal functions we have here, that doesn't look great, but let's drop the shadow intensity quite a bit here. Maybe drop down the texture a little bit and increase the brush detail here. And it has quickly turned into another stylized kind of painting here that is, especially you can tell a lot of the detail here in the clouds. That does feel a lot more like a watercolor sort of painting there. Now, let's get away from the artistic option here and let's drop down into the texture. I love the texture options that we have here. Let's see, texturizer is probably my favorite of the options here. So there are a few different options here in the drop down. We've got brick, burlap, canvas, and sandstone. And if you want it to look like it's been either painted or printed on a canvas, this actually does a pretty good job here of giving you that feel. Now we can adjust the scaling here to adjust the overall, and now you're going to have to look real close to be able to see the lines that are appearing all across the image here. But if you crank that all the way up, it really does give that canvas sort of feel to it. And then the relief option here is going to impact the overall like lighting and color that we have here. So giving this a lower number is going to be advantageous to us here. Now we can adjust the where the light is coming from here, as well as so we can see the paint or the lines are going to be in a different direction, and we can even invert that so that the lines are inverted a little bit so that they're kind of shifted to the side a bit there. So you can kind of explore that a little bit more and take a look if that is something that you are interested in. Patchwork is going to do something similar to what we talked about in the last video, talking about kind of pixelating our image a little bit here. And we can adjust the square size there to make those squares quite large or quite small. Making it really small, this does give me like a classic, like old school PlayStation 1 kind of feel for a background. If you were making like a video game, I could see this being thrown into the background there. Now, again, the relief here is going to adjust the lighting on this. And so we can give this a lower number to be able to preserve some of that detail so that we don't blow it out here. With that. Now, maybe I'm saying maybe lighting isn't the right word. It's giving us like a little bit more intensity with how much a patchwork that we're getting the feel for here on that. Okay. There's a few other texture options here. Now let's take a look at stylize here, and let's see if we can make this look. Let's get some more brightness going here. Let's see what edge width does. That is going to increase the whites, which we don't want. Let's lower that a bit. Maybe smoothness, we can throw that up a little bit. Got like an old school kind of like disco sort of feel, like we could put a light behind it to be able to make that look cool. I'm sure that if we gave this a little bit more work to this, that we could make this look really interesting here with the stylize feature. Taking a look at the sketch here, we can change it to like a water paper. Now, a lot of these are going to be black and white options here. And maybe you're going for like an old school like manga or some kind of comic book feel here. This could kind of work for you for that. So there's really a lot of different ways that you can take a background, almost more so than by cartoonizing yourself. Here you can really do a lot with these filters here, and it doesn't take a lot of time or a lot of work to really get yourself. This is kind of like a cinematic sort of filter here to be able to give us some kind of moody scene that we have going on here by kind of moving some of the water out of focus and kind of focusing more on the land there with the diffused glow. But there's really a lot of options and a lot of different things that you can do there. So I would recommend that you just kind of play around with it and see what you can find. I've always loved the poster edges. That's why we worked on that first. Because I just feel like it really gives that cool hand-drawn sort of feel to it, and I really like that. And just like we did early on, we could go into the filters, we can go into stylize and then oil paint. And then similarly, we can smooth out those dots there to be able to get that kind of painted looking or like really nicely colored in on our hand-drawn feel there. And we can adjust our stylization and cleanliness and everything accordingly to be able to get ourselves a little bit of a more stylized look there. There we go. Let's drop the stylization back down to around 3. And then there you go. That looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, the sky is really the limit with these filters here. And you could do some really wacky stuff if you want to go for, I think we talked very briefly in the last video about the distort options that are available. I mean, you could come in and you could really make some super crazy stuff, here using that. So, dropping down to a size that we can kind of see what's happening here. We can get some crazy distort going on. There we go. So to really give us a fuzzy image here. Or we could just hit the eyeball down here in the bottom corner and we can get rid of that altogether. Now, one of the things too that you may want to play around with as well is, using the smart filter down here, you can actually drag your different filter options up and down, and they will move in the arrangement down here. So the ripple will take place before the oil paints. And the ripple will take place before the filter gallery here. So we can see how that's going to change things. So you can kind of, play around with that as well to be able to adjust the styling of your background here that you're going to be working with. And then of course, again, we can take our pictures of whatever we want. And maybe I want my pixelated video game character to jump over here into the beach, and I can adjust them down to a more appropriate size here. And then there you go. We've got our character here in the scene, and they fit right in. So that is going to do it for our Cartoonize Yourself and using the filters functions here on Photoshop. There are still just a ton more different options that you have available here. So please play around with those and see what kind of wacky things that you can come up with. And if you have any other questions, stop on by the Digital Den and we would be happy to sit down with you and see what's going on. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.